Hello, everybody. Welcome to Stat Check episode 165. It is December 16th, and we are You Going to Heroic? Psyops and Charity GTs. It's just me and Anthony tonight. Innes got back from an international trip yesterday and apparently reversed his day and night cycle. So he is probably asleep again, trying to reset himself back to a normal state of existing. So instead, you get the two of us.
Whoa!
How are you doing, Anthony?
Little sick, recovering from the everything,
Yep.
but trying.
Trying it.
Yeah,
Trying
that's
is
how
the
I
way
would
of
describe it. Trying is the best I would describe it as.
Mhm. Trying is definitely, I think, where I'm at as well. It was definitely nice to get back last night to Chicago. Aside from my seatmate trying to like throw elbows for 3 hours on an airplane.
Yeah, what was up with that, dude?
I don't really know. I'm just a guy sitting in a chair, and the guy really wanted to be in my chair. And so he tried from the middle to be in my chair all night
Apparently,
and just kept elbowing me in my ribs all night as well. And was like,
rough.
it just seemed like somebody was having a lot of anxiety about things, and he was just moving around a lot and like leaning forward. He put his head on his thing. I'm like, bud, this
Just
can't be uncomfortable for both of us for 2 to 3 hours. It's just not a
sure.
thing that we can do.
Yeah.
But I channeled all my deep anger and frustration apparently into just making everybody on the internet feel better about themselves with positive affirmations
Yeah, that
in
was
the
good. That
Patreon
was so
Discord.
nice. You burned
I was like,
$8 for the Wi-Fi and called it a day.
I was like, I'm so mad that I'm gonna give you compliments. Is is essentially what happened.
Which is a funny thing to learn about yourself, right?
Yep. Man, I'm so pissed. Let me be nice to you. Other than that, just getting back from the GT and seeing the snowy wonderland that is both New York and New Jersey. And
Yeah, it
there's
was
Pickles
nice.
the cat.
You did get some in-person time with Pickles.
I did.
Oh,
I got to meet Pickles. Oh, Pickles wants to be on the show, which is great.
she just wants to yell right now. She doesn't actually want to come up.
Fair enough. But yeah, we've got stats for the week. We will talk about the charity GT that Anthony was running and I was playing at. And then we'll
Woohoo!
probably talk a little bit about, I don't know, something else. We'll figure it out on the way. It might be a short episode. We'll see what happens. There's
Who
not a lot to talk
knows?
about on the news front. We can talk about how we are going to record some more videos and content
Yeah, there will be at
for all
least
of you to look
two
forward to.
pieces of content that come out of this tournament.
Yep. All right. So I'm going to go into stats. There's, cat check. That is what's up next.
Nailed it.
All right.
Bam.
So looking at GT Plus sized events for the weekend, we're not going to look at overrep, but I'm going to talk kind of generally about who won events and like what kind of list structures and detachments are doing well. There were 13 events over the weekend.
A shocking amount for the second week in December.
Yeah, I was honestly looking at it, and the numbers don't seem like very high from a player count perspective, but it is still 13 events. So there aren't a ton of players, but it is still a fairly large number of events.
Mm-hmm.
The events are mostly a mixed bag of pre and post slate still. So folks are going to have to wait a little bit for us to have like pre and post slate knowledge about kind of where things are at for detachments.
Right.
But we can get an idea of kind of where things are at based solely on what we've got so far.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Starting at the top, sorted by win rate. Despite having only 4 players, Gene Stealer Colt was the number 1 by win rate with a 61.11% win rate.
I feel like at 4
but
players,
also,
they don't get to be number 1. They get to be an
it's
anomaly
true.
that we put an asterisk next to.
Yeah, it's going to take a second before we get down to the number that is actually more significant. Because number 2 is Death Watch, who had 7 players and had a 58.82% win rate. And then in third is Thousand Suns, who had 9 players and a 57.78% win rate.
Yeah.
And I don't think any of these guys had wins. They did not. And then we hit kind of the actual meat of factions and representation. The number 1 faction with more than 10 players was Blood Angels, with 24 players and a 57.66% win rate. Those
That's
event
pretty
winner. Yeah, it's both high, and then both of the event winners for them. They won 2 events overall. Were Matt Charles playing Rage Cursed Onslaught, and then Innis, who won the Charity GT, also playing Rage Cursed Onslaught. So maybe, just maybe,
That one might be pretty good.
that one might be pretty good. After that, yeah, having played against it, I would say it is quite good. Yeah, made me sad. Drukari here next. They had 17 players. Why are you doing this to me, Paige? I don't like this. Drukari had 17 players and a 56.47% win rate. They also had a GT win, which was Spectacle of Spite. Spectacle of Spite doing basically what Spectacle of Spite is supposed to do, I suppose, which is make people big mad.
Stab Marines.
Yes. Stab Marines repeatedly and hope that they die before they stab you back.
Yep. I mean, it does not tolerate being stabbed back at all. So
correct. It is definitely a, if I get stabbed back, I'm gonna die very dramatically.
Yeah.
Next up is Dark Angels. They had a 55.65% win rate. They had 24 players. They won 2 events, as far as I can tell.
Wow.
We've won with Wrath of the Rock and Company of Hunters, based on what I can see here at Rogue City Rumble and Safeties Off. Yeah, I don't know what that's about, but it's definitely something that's in my stats telling me that those 2 things won events. So,
all right,
that's different.
I mean, Wrath I kind of get, but the other one is interesting. Company of Hunters.
Let me double check it real quick. I will open it up in this little viewing tool that I've got, and I can make sure that it's actually correct.
Yeah.
I want to see the list, guys. It is Company Hunters. It is true. It is the truth.
All right.
No lie. All right. Good job, Company of Hunters.
Many guns, go fast, fall back, shoot, act, advance, shoot, act. You know, it's pretty good.
For Gitley, Innis won the Warhammer 40K Charity GT in New Jersey, which was the Warhammer 40K Charity GT for NFBNJ, which is a acronym for Anthony.
National Federation of the Blind New Jersey?
I believe that's correct.
Federation or Foundation? I forget. It's one of the 2.
Yep. Next up, after Dark Angels, is Death Guard. They had 27 players and a 54.96% win rate. Death Guard actually kind of floating up to the top, which is, fine for them.
Getting close. Dangerous.
Getting to the dangerous world of win rate.
Yeah.
After Death Guard is Adeptus Mechanicus, they had 15 players, which is a lot of players for an Adeptus Mechanicus weekend, and 54.29% win rate. No event wins for Adeptus Mechanicus this weekend, though. They were blanked out. Next up is Generic Space Marines, who get to give me the worst headache of all time because their stats are funny, because it includes Blood Angels and other stuff in it, which I don't like. Space Marines had 47 players. They did win an event, and they had a 53.19% win rate. When I dig into this number so I can make sure that it is correct. Blades of Ultramar won an event, which I don't think anybody is surprised by. How many Victrix Guard do you think that Blades of Ultramar army had in it, Anthony?
I don't know. 12, 18?
Just 6. Just 6 Victrix Guard.
Yeah.
It had an Eradicator, it had a Centurion Devastator squad, and a Ballista Dread in it. Very strange list. I don't know what to do with it.
Whatever the fuck you want. Ultras, you can just throw darts at the wall and you'll hit good stuff.
That's fair. And the Victrix Honor Guard will keep you in, keep you up and away against melee pressure armies that is completely and utterly undeserved in all fashions.
Right.
Yeah, cool. I'm gonna slam 1,400 points of my army into your 1 6-mana Victrix Guard, and then hope that works out for me after you've popped AOC and maybe fight on death, and maybe, or in the case of Blades of Ultramar, -1 to wound to go on top of the -1 to wound. So if your opponent has Lance, they're still just sad.
Yeah.
After Space Marines is Tyranids, 23 players, a 52.21% win rate. Then we have Necrons, who had 24 and a 52.17. Chaos Demons with a 50% win rate. Adeptus Sororitas, perfectly average in all ways, with 14 players and an exactly 50% win rate. And then Emperor's Children, 23 players and 2 event wins and a 50% win rate. Both of those were with coterie. So you know what detachment is good. Go off and explore, folks, and have fun with your coterie of the conceded detachment.
Yep. Play different coterie stuff.
Yep. After that is World Leaders, who had a 31-player weekend with 49.32% win rate. No event wins. Chaos Knights, 21 players and a 48.08. There was one...
Nathan,
Whoa.
You're telling me that after you nerf the mid-range only OK army, it got a sub 50% win rate and won nothing?
Mm-hmm.
What's that about?
I know, right? I mean, some of that might be pre-nerf, buoying it up a little bit.
Oh, good. So there's room for it to get worse, is what you're saying.
I'm just saying there is definitely room. Yes, that is exactly what I'm saying, Anthony, is that there's definitely room for it to get worse.
Many moons ago, Orestes taught me a saying, which is there is no situation so bad that it cannot get worse.
That's true. It is very, very much true. Everything can always get worse, folks. It really doesn't matter. There's no bottom. Hitting rock bottom doesn't exist. There's always another bottom below that bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah. After CK is Eldari, which is, it's very funny to talk about them this late in an episode where we're talking about stats. 17 players and a 46.99% win rate, which is still respectable.
Yep.
Orcs are up next, 22 players and a 46.79% win rate. They won an event. And it looks like they won an event with hit button.
Please.
With Warhorde. With Warhorde, yes. It's honestly that I hit the button and the little screen inset that I wanted to appear didn't appear, but it appeared at the top of my screen. So I had to scroll up and find it. Anthony is now very used to Nathan needing an extra 10 seconds to do a technology-based thing.
And it's okay. The alternative is that we go 40 minutes out of the way to the gas station that doesn't exist. So take your time, big man.
It only happened once, I swear. Astra Militar, yeah. This is because I was never trusted again to do it.
I didn't say why. It just only happened once.
True. Astra Militar are next, 38 players and a 45.16% win rate. Their event win, they had a single event win, which was Grizzled, as I don't think anybody is surprised by. That army is definitely an army of really fair buffs with reroll hits and wounds in.
At what point were we the guardsmen started hitting on 2s and we were like, that's probably fine. That's all right. When did that happen? Why has that happened?
Not only do they hit on 2s, they also get to reroll 1s. So they're hitting on 2s, rerolling 1s to hit,
So frustrating.
The magnificently efficient charge that I experienced while playing Possessed, getting hit by Rough Riders, hitting on 2s, rerolling 1s, wounding on 2s, rerolling 1s, was a vibe. I was like,
men.
These are just happening? Dudes charging demon-possessed Space Marines. You'd think they would be more okay than this. They were They were mostly okay. It was fine. After Astra Militarum is Adeptus Custodes. They had 26 players and a 45.16% win rate for the weekend. They also won an event. So good job, Custodes. They won an event with Talons. Keep going, Custodes players. You got this. I swear. Mm-hmm. Leagues of Votann are up next. They had 17 players and a 43% win rate. Chaos Space Marines are up after that with 31 players and a 43% win rate as well. And no event wins, but when I look at this, I do get really appreciative because I am number 3 on the performance rankings for the weekend.
Yeah. Wahoo!
And all 3 of the people in first are event ranked number 4. So they're all 3 in the top 4.
Nice.
Which means they're 4th in case anybody ever tells you that they're in the top 4 of something. After that is Grey Knights. They only had 8 players. We're not really super convinced about this, but it's a 42.5% win rate for them. Black Templars had 17 players and a 41.67. Space Wolves had 19 players and a 39% win rate, which is bad. All Imperial Knights, 17 players and a 35.8% win rate is
good.
Basically in the bottom, the actual bottom.
Yep.
And then finally, Imperial Agents had a single player who went with a 33% win rate. MCART, I can see the performance rankings. That's all. Because I have a sheet that I'm looking at for it. At some point, we may put that up. We'll kind of talk about it later. But yeah,
maybe in the future.
Maybe in the far future.
So
yeah,
do you
that's
have
everything.
Detachment win rates?
I do not have detachment win rates at this exact moment.
Okay.
We have most of the data. We just don't have detachment data. If you look deep, if you look at it just at the surface level from this last week, you can already kind of see that we have really good performance from Rage Cursed Onslaught,
Yeah.
just from its first week of release, essentially in the wild, and then we have ongoing issues with Ultramarines kind of doing really well, also with Victrix and other things.
Ultras,
like the top. Go ahead.
I said Ultras are just too good.
Yep. And I mean, if you looked at our event, right, it was Blood Angels, Ultramarines, Chaos Space Marines, right?
Sure.
For the top 4. So,
yep.
Like, you don't have to go very far to hit a Space Marines player if you're in the top 10 of an event.
No, I mean, usually they'll be in the top 5, right? Like,
right. And then Tyranids had a 52.21% win rate, is what I've got in front of me.
That's pretty good for Nids.
Yeah, honestly respectable. I mean, there were only 13 events, which is really funny to say because when we first started this show, I think we were like 13 events was the most we would get on a weekend.
Yeah, we'd be like, holy shit.
Ever. Holy shit, this is so many events.
Yeah.
And then we'd go back to our 5 or 6 event weekends for like every other week of the year.
Like, that's much more normal. I mean, if we were still doing it the old way, we'd be fucked, right? If we were doing it, one thing at a time, that'd be a real issue.
If we were doing it by hand, still with Excel spreadsheets, and instead now we have like proper systems in place in order to get all the data together.
Yeah.
Other than the cleaning part of it. The cleaning part of it still needs to be done by hand. There were 4 GSC players over the weekend to answer the question in chat. It's not really especially meaningful. They had a 61.11% win rate, which it's hard to make anything out of that based off of almost nobody
4
playing.
of them.
But yeah, we'll have all the other stats probably later this week, and that'll all get uploaded to the dashboard once we kind of get a few more things figured out from the data. So yeah, you all can look forward to that. All right. That's it. I don't think anything weird is in this data from this last weekend. It kind of looks like how I would expect it to look. I mean, the spread is pretty wide because there's not a lot of players in this data set. So, comparatively speaking. And I don't have any, detachment data to rage bait anybody with today, unfortunately.
Not just yet.
Not just yet. Give it a week or two, because this data is also mixed between, like I said earlier, the pre and post slate kind of meta, because a fair number of people use rules locks for their stuff that are a little bit more strict.
Something that might not work.
Yep. Oh, geez.
Nope.
And just straight up into darkness. You'll need to do that for dramatic effect sometime when you have something really important to say. You just
if I had a faster way to do it, I think it would work. If I could be like, and then
be really close, like. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. We'll kind of see what things actually happen. We probably won't know until January, right? Because December is pretty light on events. Usually there aren't a ton of events over the next few weeks as people kind of do their holiday stuff and vacations and things.
I would be surprised if there was basically anything over the next 2 weeks besides maybe, I don't know when Slanesh misses, but
I think Slanesh was actually in those stats as well.
Oh, it might have been last weekend. That's fair. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to move on to talking kind of about, there was really no news for this week either, which is,
there's just not a lot going on. The Grotmas stuff is like random lore article, model you won't use, stuff you don't care about. Woo!
How to play spearhead duos in Age of Sigmar.
Is that really what one of them was? I wouldn't be surprised, but
yes, one of them was pair up and play spearhead doubles.
All right.
Which, cool. perfectly respectable use of like a Grotmas like reveal. For the most part, though, this last like few days, it's just been lore tidbits and possible like if any of it turns out to be something like maybe them trying to tell us that something's coming in the next week or so.
Yeah.
Supposedly we're getting like bigger reveals next week around Christmas itself, I think, just kind of what they usually do, but
yeah, we'll get
nobody really knows what that means or what it is.
I'm hopeful we get some fancy new shit.
Yeah.
Where's the Chaos equivalent for Vitrix at, dude? Come on.
I mean, there was an entire like lore article that seems to very heavily imply that Iron Warriors are getting something, but yeah. I don't know. Mining their random lore articles for tidbits of truth seems like a way to spiral down into madness into the abyss.
People always love to make a video when it comes out and being like, dude, it's definitely Iron Warriors. And then like 3 weeks later, it'll be something completely fucking different. And then they'll put the same person that put out the, like, it's definitely Iron Warriors video. Be like, I knew it was Word Bearers the whole time.
All right, it'd be really funny if it's Lorgar after that, like, article, because it's like, look at all this stuff about Perturabo.
Oh, is it? That's funny.
Yeah, it's like very... It's like Perturabo is definitely happening.
Yeah.
Purdy will be an upgrade sprue.
An upgrade sprue for Mortarion. He'll be much better.
It's gonna be Perturabo, but he's returned as a loyalist demon Primarch.
Could you imagine? Oh god, I'd be so mad. He's the new chapter master of the Iron Hands.
He's been purified, you see. He's no longer a demon Primarch. He's a machine Primarch of the Emperor. It's great. It's perfect.
He's the fucking the Omnissiah. He's the Primarch of the Admech. He comes back and he's just like, all right, we got it. Let's go.
Honestly, I hope sometime this week they do Titus's data sheets just so we can kind of see what we're getting ourselves into with the 500 world stuff is kind of what I'm hoping for.
It'd be cool if it went straight to Legends.
That would be very funny. If it was a Crusade only data sheet.
That'd be sick. They should do more of those, like everything in Kill Team.
Hey, wait. You mean only Kill Team specific data sheets like Nemesis Claw, right? Not my, Mandrakes, right?
Oh, also the Mandrakes. Anything that's in Kill Team. Gone. Stay in your own game system, nerds.
But Anthony, those are my sculpts.
They were.
Damn it. That was the monkey's paw curling. I want more releases. Only Kill Team releases.
Yes, you can play the shit out of that skirmish game, dude.
Kill Team only Nightbringer. Amazing. Because he would be a Kill Team box release, right? He's coming out in like a Kill Team box or something.
Does that mean they're going to do Kill Team only Perturabo? Because, like, to compete with the Nightbringer?
Sorry, Iron Warriors fans. Your Primarch is in another game system.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of it on the releases front. There's not like a lot of news fit to print at the moment because they are kind of dragging us between a couple things at the moment.
Yeah.
Which is fine. The holidays are always slow for stats, for competitive news, for kind of all sorts of things.
Unless they Grotmas us.
Yes, unless they Grotmas us. Last year was kind of...
We had lots to talk about last year.
It was definitely a bounty of riches last year from a competitive standpoint.
Yeah.
And we did get detachments, but they were covered basically all last week. So that's what you get. All right. I guess we can talk about the event then.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, I think we've done the rest of the things.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about the event, Anthony, and then I can talk a little bit about my random experience at it.
So we talked about the event a bunch. It's a exclusively charity event. I do not have the total for how much we raised yet, but I know it was quite a bit, so that was cool. There was a little fun little raffle prize at the end where a bunch of people got a bunch of stuff. That was pretty sweet. They gave away some pretty sweet stuff. I didn't even realize that we got there. There was like that, what was it, the Joy Toy Redemptor or whatever? That shit's crazy for like a raffle prize. Insane.
The person who donated it originally won it as well.
Yeah, was the first
like, please don't. Like, no. Please don't. No, we donated it to get it out of our house.
Yes. That happened with a couple of different pieces. That was actually pretty funny. Yeah. So yeah, it was it ran really smoothly for the most part. We had a lot of people were really excited to be there. Everyone was really nice. I had a couple just random nonsense judge calls through the event. But that's, kind of the nature of the game with a game like 40K, where games are 3 hours long and people that live normal lives can't be turbo practiced. So I took what I would refer to as a pretty active role as a judge. If I heard something wrong happening in a game, I would lean in and be like, wait a minute, no. And not coming from a place of like, you're doing this incorrectly, you could do this better, win more by doing this, but just being like, that's not how that rule works. So yeah, I think broadly went well. I didn't get any complaints about how I was doing things, so that was pretty good. I think for the most part, people had a really good experience. Like I said, most people were really well behaved, so I didn't have to do a ton of like the hard judge work as much as I had to be like, hey, this is how this works. And then people would, change things based on that, right? But yeah, for the most part, it went really well. Everyone was pretty happy. The rounds ran smoothly, except for the last day where we got hit with a snowstorm between day 1 and 2, and then like 4 or 5 people dropped going into day 2. So I had to get a little screwed with the pairings, which made the BCP app very upset. So I had to use my phone, just like the old piece of paper on the wall. I was like, "Come to the phone to get your pairings over here." But once that was sorted, the next round ran smoothly, so it was fun.
Yeah. The event ran really smoothly. I have no complaints.
Yeah.
All my opponents were great. It was good having Anthony occasionally peer over and just watch you do something, and then like nodding sagely and then walking away because you were playing correctly, or walking over and being like, that's not how that works at all, Nathan.
Yeah.
Occasionally with Chaos Space Marine data sheets. And I was like, thank you, Anthony.
Local man's first event on Chaos forgets to roll his packs.
Repeatedly.
Yeah.
And they're just like, are you going to pact that or not? And I was like, no.
What would happen is you'd be in the middle of adding sustained hits and I'd be like, Nathan, you packed roll. You forgot something important. And then it's CSM with icons, so everything always passes. But still.
Every single thing. I did actually fail, I think, 2 pact rolls over the weekend. 2, because everything has icons.
Yeah.
Like the Possessed just natively have them, and then the Legionnaire or the Chosen have them as well.
Yep.
And then, but yeah, it was a good.
I try not to pact with Cypher just because it makes me nervous.
Yeah, it does feel like I'm gonna accidentally blow Cypher up randomly every single time. I didn't pact with him once, and he did his job just fine. So
yeah, he does a good job. Anything else on the event from your perspective?
The terrain was good. Funnily enough, played only on one set of terrain basically all weekend. I played on the GW official terrain basically.
Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, because we had some 3D printed ones around.
But the rest of the terrain looked really good. It was like the connect-a-block kind of terrain, which is actually really nice. I looked at it a bunch, and I kind of like futzed around with it at the end of day 2.
Yep.
Just kind of poking around at it, and it's quite nice.
Yeah, it's pretty durable.
It's really great to have terrain that's kind of like a little customizable, but also relatively durable, and that also looks pretty good. And then playing on one layout all weekend was kind of a nice change of pace because it didn't depend on everybody being able to like remeasure everything randomly between rounds.
Yeah, that helps. It's less. If I thought there was a second workable GW layout, I would have used it, but I didn't, so I didn't.
And then getting to play Search and Destroy twice was quite fun.
I mean, same thing.
I love circles.
There's not a lot of great deployment types to be used. Search, Crucible, Tipping Point, kinda.
Yeah. It was perfect. And layout 1 and then all the maps kind of felt like they weren't too anchored too much for melee or for shooting armies. Like I played several shooting armies and they did just fine. So
yeah. You still get shot.
Yeah, you still get shot. I got shot quite a bit, although I was also in people's faces almost immediately. So, but yeah, I would go back to that event almost automatically without any thought whatsoever. Be like, yeah, let me go find flights and buy a ticket. Right. Instantaneously.
The event will be roughly the same time next year. I'm going to try to do a little bit more pre-marketing for it this time. So hopefully try and get some more people out. So, but it is a bit of a tough time of year to travel. Ironically, the flights at like this right now, not bad at all. Flights in like a week and a half, terrible. Very expensive.
Yeah, I was very impressed because I got like an $125 ticket basically to fly over. I was like, I don't need bags. I'll land. Anthony will provide probably.
We'll figure out the rest.
Yeah. Speaking of the rest, we can talk, I guess, a little bit about that. I played Chaos Space Marines for the first time at an event, which was a ton of fun. Originally, I was going to play a very different version of a Renegade Raiders list.
Yep.
That we talked about after I landed, and Anthony was like, "Here are the models that you have. Here's the list that you get. Good luck. Salute."
Speed.
And then on the first night, once we were kind of all collected into a space, or it was the first.
Yep, it was the first night. It was the
first night.
No, it was the second night because you guys got
it was the
Thursday.
Night.
It was the Friday that we wrote the list.
Yep. So Friday night, Innocent Anthony and I are sitting in a room, and Innes is like, "But what about Possessed?"
And
Anthony
like,
goes,
"Fuck Possessed."
And then Innes was like, "But what about 30 Possessed in Bile
with Abaddon?"
With Abaddon.
Like, all right, I can consider that. And I opened up my phone and tinkering away I went. We got most of the way to a well-refined list because that's tends to be how I write lists, is I get 80% there on the first shot.
And so it ended up being 30 Possessed, 20 Chosen, 2 Traitor Enforcers who are the best little shitters that have ever existed in the entire life of shitters. There's very little that's not a T6, 5-up invuln, 5-up or 4-up feel no pain shitter until the guy dies.
Yeah, it's great. You get one guy with an invuln and a feel no pain, and then you get a guy with basically no armor save to speak of who dies instantly the minute the first guy's dead.
Yep. And combined they have 8 strength 6 or 8 AP 1 or 2 damage to attacks, and that are strength 7 or strength 6.
Yeah, it just depends.
Yep, just depending on which guy is doing it. So it's a lot of
oh, go ahead.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of like damage to attacks that are great into random shit.
Yep.
Like the 2 of them might be killing Intercessor Squad. Like just the 2 of them do, and that's kind of neat for 55 points.
It's funny. They're really funny in Renegades because if you're on an objective and they pop you, it's like 622 and 732 or 632 and 722. Very funny.
Yep. And it honestly, I fell in love with my evil commissar. Evil ogre and bodyguard who probably just turned because the commissar said it was what he was supposed to do.
Yeah, he was like, all right.
Sure, whatever. Same thing.
Yeah.
And the rest of the list is 20 Chosen, Abaddon, Fabius Bile, a couple Rhinos, and Cypher.
Cypher.
There you go.
Cultists. 10 cultists.
10 cultists at the end. It's easy to forget about them, but they won the last game kind of handily by themselves. They do stuff.
They helped at the end.
They helped at the end, which is all that you can ask them for.
Yep.
The list basically operated on the function of put Abaddon in middle.
And then go.
Have Abaddon have the 4-up invulnerable save up.
To start.
Have him within 6 inches within 6 inches of all 30 of your possessed so that you can kind of keep them a little safe. Walk meat pile forwards. Have 20 Chosen behind them to murder things.
It's easy to look at the list and be like, it's a lot of points for 5 units. But if you recalibrate that thought to being, it is a lot of points, but it's 150 T not 4 or better wounds behind a 4-up invuln. A little bit different to engage with.
Yeah, and at that point, it's basically a Custodes profile because most people, like you're going to be.
Yeah, the 2-up part matters when you're in cover, but like that's kind of it.
There's so much stuff that I encountered while playing that I also just flat out fucking ignored cover, so it didn't really matter.
It was a lot of ignore cover getting shot at you specifically. There was a bunch of that around.
I was like, it doesn't matter. I'm going to 4-up invuln.
Yeah, true. Yes, correct.
A lot of crab men with crab arms, disappointing me in melee combat, but also surviving in situations where they shouldn't.
The first game was absolutely hilarious because you were like, these guys, or it was the second game. I think it was the second game when you put.
It was the second game in the guard.
He puts like, I'm watching it, but obviously I can't say anything. He takes like 8 possessed and puts them into, or it was like 5 or I think it was 6 possessed, puts them into like 15 scions, but he picked movement at the beginning of the game. So this is like no output buff possessed, and I'm like, there's definitely going to be scions there at the end of that. And Nathan just like, no support, No strat support, no guns. It's just like, they got this. It's 6 possessed. Of course they got this, because he's played any other army. And in he charges, and out they go. And like 5 scions or some shit lived.
And I was like, not 5 scions alive.
Yep. It was not the best day.
They medical packed and regenerated onto the point and then made it so that I didn't hold it. And I was like, son of a fuck.
Yeah.
But yeah, I played my first game into Blood Angels, which was a good like opening palette cleanser kind of situation from Eldar into Chaos Space Marines, essentially, because I got to experience 2 armies running at each other. So I selected 2-inch movement because it was a good idea at the time, and just kind of walked my army towards my opponent and came out the other side with a 19-1. My opponent underrolled a little bit. I kind of pinned him in place and kind of beat the crap out of him with Chosen. Abaddon in that game didn't actually have to do very much.
No, he kind of got there at the end, and it was already over.
He did. He got there at the end because I kind of had undersped my units.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to move up, and I didn't get there until about turn 3, when I probably should have been there in turn 2.
Yep.
It was good enough. I got a 19-1 win. Awesome. Game 2 is into Bridgehead, which is kind of what Anthony talked about next. My next lesson was how to use Possessed appropriately and how to back them up with things.
Anything. Just anything at all.
And in that game, I had Scions coming out of the fucking walls, essentially, was what happened. And I pushed in. I didn't use my resources very effectively, but I managed to get Abaddon into melee combat with a Rogaldorn, which he proceeded to one-shot from top to bottom. And then he charged a Lehman Russ and took that from top to bottom, and then charged another Lehman Russ and killed that.
While his buddies finished a Chimera.
While his buddies killed the Chimera that then didn't explode, and then I took the point, and then I was done. There were no more guardsmen coming out of the walls. They were all dead.
Yeah. It was notable at this game that Nathan looked at me and said, all the officers are dead, no gods, no masters. And I was like, he's getting it. He's getting it. He's beginning to believe.
The highlight of that game, though, was the Possessed running out, rolling a 12 on the charge.
Oh, God. Yeah, that was crazy.
I put 4 of them around Sly Marbo hiding behind the initial ruin, and then the rest of them hit Gaunt's ghosts.
And killed the shit out of them.
And I picked up both units, and my opponent was like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
My mission pieces are gone. And I was like, it's time to die.
Yeah.
And then I underspent the rest of my army. But it was cool. I learned a lot about how efficiencies work in this army.
You definitely slowly fed 2 units straight into the Rogaldorn wood chipper before you were like, all right, that's enough of that. Abaddon, go handle that.
Yeah, I probably could have just sent Abaddon in a turn earlier. That's just what I needed to do.
That's going to be a common trend.
Yes, this is a common trend for all of this, is me being a little too tentative with an army built around aggression.
Yeah.
Until the next game, which is when I played Innis. I went into this game and I was like, this is going to be bad. Innis has reps on melee pressure armies, just in general. Has played many more games of Warhammer 40k. And so I pushed my army kind of into the middle, a little bit further back. Innis put out a Dreadnought. I was like, I'll eat the Dreadnought to take the point, have the rest of my army kind of behind it. Maybe Innis will charge that with like a few things. Innis did not charge it with a few things. Innis charged my army with every single thing except for one combi lieutenant.
I need you to understand, Chad, that this is like a Ron Swanson with the eggs situation where, like, I need you to not mishear Nathan and assume that he got charged by, like, a lot of Innis's army. He got charged by 1,930 points of Blood Angels in the following turn.
It was
minus
everything.
Minus a DC Dread.
Yeah, it was like one DC Dread that was dead, and then a combi lieutenant that was off on a different point somewhere doing a thing. And basically all of my army, except for Abaddon's squad, was engaged in melee combat, which was not what I wanted. And it came down to like 3 decision points in a combat puzzle that I just wasn't really fully equipped to solve. So like the first thing of the combat puzzle was a positioning mistake with the Fabius Bile unit, where they could have been dropped out of that Rhino in any other positioning around it and been safe from a charge. That is beeps.
And that is the sound of Nathan deciding that he was going to heroic his Fabius unit into dying.
Correct. So then what happened was I left a gap between Abaddon and the unit of possessed over in front of him that probably just shouldn't have existed. And so what happened is a bunch of flying units with jump packs equipped with big hammers, big swords, and fists charged that unit and wrapped it into a little castle of crap, basically, where it was going to die.
Yeah.
And the third mistake was letting Innis Psyops me into heroic intervening.
Where's the title? Whatever direction the title is.
Where I was so mad because Innis asked me after every single charge, he's like, Are you gonna heroic there?
Do you want to heroic?
And then the next one, do you want a heroic? And then the third one, do you want a heroic? And then the fourth one, do you want a heroic, Nathan? And by the time he got to the last unit, I was like, I'm gonna heroic.
Yep.
Because I just thought that I needed to. I let myself get reverse pyropotted. I got talked into something I didn't want to do and didn't think I needed to do, and let myself do it anyways.
The moral of the story really is that you can trust me and not Innis.
Yes, that is the moral of the story, is that Innis is an unreliable person who will throw me under a bus at the drop of a hat.
If it lets his death
before
one more unit, one extra unit.
And honestly, if I had just not heroic, we probably would have had a game.
You probably would have won.
Oh, damn, that's funny.
Yeah,
Sad.
like if you go into that next turn, because like, all right, so the end result of this turn for the chat, folks, is that Nathan loses every single possessed and the bile brick.
There were 3 left.
Sorry, 27 of the possessed and the bile brick. But what would have happened instead is that he would have had 20 chosen, essentially 3 possessed, Abaddon, and a bile unit. And I don't know if you fine folks have hit anything with Abaddon in the last couple of years, but goodness fucking gracious, does he remove whatever the fuck you want with the quickness. Especially in creations where he fixes the CP economy, would have access to reroll wounds, and then turns on reroll hits. He's also stapled to 10 dudes who shoot pretty good into Marines. So the likely end result of all of this would have been just a shitload of dead Blood Angels now trying to punch into another 23 wound assholes.
Mm-hmm.
It is not guaranteed, of course, that Nathan wins from this position, but he had an unreasonable amount of game into it, given the fact that he decided he wanted to play Trade Hammer with his army of 10-man units.
Yep. I think if I unlock the Gordian Knot and fight on death with a possessed unit, and then interrupt with the other one because I had 4 CP.
Right.
I interrupt with the one unit. I kill a Death Company unit plus a couple of shitter, and then a shitter
on
from
the other side. You killed Dante and
probably
6
Dante.
Sangers. Yeah.
Yeah. So if I interrupt on the other side, I kill Dante and probably 6 Sanguinary Guard by turning on Dev Wounds.
Yep.
And
probably would have been more like Dante and his unit. Maybe the other 3 would have skated, but
that's good enough. Dante and his unit is enough. 3 Sanguinary Guard and Dante dying, that's plenty.
Yep.
Because then Abaddon kills the Lamartie's unit. Just absolutely. No contest. Abaddon kills the Lamartie's unit.
Well, they're going to shoot the piss out of it first, right?
Yeah. Yeah. You're in rapid fire range. I'm turning on reroll hits. I'm going to shoot you until you die from combi weapon dev wounds, basically, is what's going to happen in the next turn. And then you fight on death with the other 10. They kill 5.
Just anything. Just hurt
they kill,
somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, do something over there.
Based on the combat that happened with the interrupt, they kill 5 Death Company and a Sanguinary Guard.
Yep.
Which is fine. That's a respectable kind of outcome for them in the end situation. The other unit interrupts, kills Dante, probably lives. And effectively what just happened is I failed to solve a combat knot. And that's...
Combat mirrors are a bitch.
Yeah. And the best part of it was, though, is that Anthony and Innis and I got to sit down because I was like, at that moment, I was like, well, I've lost. Clearly.
It's also worth noting there's a very real factor at play here, which is that you've not played a GT, let alone like a 3-round event with a new army in a hot minute. So by game 3, you were fried eggs.
Yeah. Anthony definitely looked at me at one point and was like, "You look tired." And I was like,
Yeah.
I think the Bridgehead matchup cooked my brain a little bit as I was like trying to clean up 5 units in a diamond around my entire board at the same time.
Yep.
Which that was a 20. I probably didn't need to work that hard for it, but I did.
I mean, you do if you want it to be a 20.
Correct.
Yeah.
And
that's
then
the thing with the diff system, is that every game you must put the effort in to try.
Yep. And then, or it was a 17, which is fine. But
yeah,
I put a lot of effort into making sure it was a high scoring win. So,
yep.
But it was really cool to realize that I had been kind of playing correctly up until the part where I got hit with a combat puzzle that I didn't know how to solve, and then still probably could have pulled some points off if I hadn't been like, my brain is too tired to try to fix any of this scenario whatsoever.
Right.
Yeah. But it was good. It was a great game. Playing Innis is actually just kind of a fun experience. Me and Innis have been friends for 4 years. We have played each other exactly once now in a tournament setting, and I enjoyed it greatly. And afterwards, I got to debrief with both Anthony and Innis about what happened in the session. And Innis cackled as he told me that he reversed Anthony'd me.
Yeah, it was
and convinced me to do something that was a terrible mistake. And I told him, I looked him right in the eyes. I was like, that will never work again, fucker. You got me the one time. My first game of day 2 was into an absolute gem of a person, Greg.
Greg's a hero.
Who was playing 34 horses in Grizzled Veterans.
45 Scions and 30 Kasserkin, all of which were led.
Yes, all of which were led by Castellans and command squads, and also another Gonskos unit. And at the start of this, I had looked at that list and I was like, what's going to happen is I'm going to get corralled by a bunch of horses and then charged by a bunch of idiots on horses. And then we're going to kind of see what the efficiency looks like there. And what happened was I yeeted an entire rhino full of traitor enforcers onto a point, dumped both of them out to take it. They got out. They held a point, got me 5 points on tempting target or something like that. Just absolute amazing guys. They went into the thing. Another unit scored something else. Honestly, those shitters just did that all game. They scored me 5 points and then usually died after an inordinate amount of firepower was required to kill them.
Yep.
They charged out. I got hemmed in a little bit by horses. My opponent underestimated the traitor enforcer unit, charged it with horses, and they killed the unit of death riders without taking any casualties.
Yeah, they took just 0 damage from the bad horses, right? The not lance guys.
Correct.
They
just regular death riders. They just beat all of them to death. And my opponent was like, uh-oh.
Yep.
And then they moved to the other side of a wall and got overwatched, and the commissar got killed from that unit.
Yeah.
And then they charged a unit of Rough Riders, which were the actual unit I didn't want to deal with, and they killed like 4 or 5 of them out of the unit. You know, efficient. Yep. Very good at killing horses. On the other side of the table, I thought it was really clever and left out bait in the form of a rhino with 10 chosen and Bill in it, which almost got me screwed because if my opponent had decided to wrap it, I would have been in deeper trouble. My opponent committed enough firepower to it that it just popped and like some dudes spilled out of it. And then he didn't have enough firepower to really do anything meaningful to the unit. He charged into the possessed unit that was in front of them and into that chosen unit with Rough Riders. And then Abaddon was like, dinner, and heroic across the ruin into the Rough Riders to get a bunch of extra movement.
And also give the invuln aura to the Bile unit.
Yeah, and give the invuln to the Bile unit, which let them survive, having lost like 3 guys.
Yep. Between Disembark, Blank, and the 4-up invuln, you lost, I think it was 3 total chosen to that. And then having shot 15 Scions and 10 Kasserkin into every single possessed unit, not killed all of them, your opponent conceded.
Correct. Because the next turn, I advanced the Abaddon unit. We looked each other in the eyes as Cypher got beat on a different unit. The chosen unit got a beat on another unit. And then Abaddon looked at 2 Cadian units in front of him. And
yeah, he was about to lose basically his entire army besides his home field holders.
Yep, which we agreed on. I wasn't going to try to contest any of that part. I was just going to take everything else out back and beat it to death, which
Well, when you lose
My
the
opponent,
entire board against an army that has unrestricted advance and charge access and base moves 11 on all the possessed, it's
yep,
not
it's
happening.
something.
Yeah.
Yep. And so that game ended there. Me and my opponent went to the bar. We had a beer. We had a great time. We talked about a bunch of stuff. It was great. Greg, absolute hero. He got Best Sportsman of the weekend, which was incredibly well deserved. He was great.
Yes.
And then the final matchup was into Necrons, which was 12 Wraiths, Silent King, 2 Technomancers, 2 of the little Scarab dudes that came out in the new Kill Team box, 2 units of 5 Flayed Ones, 2 DDAs, and a Reanimator. I went second, I think, this time. I did go second this time. And essentially hit all my shit because I didn't want to get shot to death by DDAs, although that happened later on.
Whoops.
I moved up, and if people join the Patreon, they can see the picture of where the entire army and my turn 2 advances, and basically every single unit rolled a 5 or a 6 on its advance, ran up into the fucking middle, charged his entire army. I was like, it's time for reroll hits and time to see if I kill everything. I killed the 9-man Wraith unit, which is a Technomancer, 6 Wraiths, 2 of the little dudes. I killed that with Abaddon, burned 2 CP to do it, killed it basically with Abaddon, and then his Chosen killed anything that was left in the unit after that.
Yeah, a lot of it died to Abaddon, right?
Yeah, a lot of it died to Abaddon, but I needed the Chosen unit to basically clean up the rest of it. And then Biles Brick went into a DDA and killed it. And then 2 units of Possessed that had been somewhat depleted by shooting as they were coming in due to positioning, went into 1 more 6-man, the Wraiths, basically killed it down to like 2 Wraiths, and then couldn't kill it past that, and then spent the next 2 turns in melee combat with it until it died on turn 4, bottom of turn 4, basically. The Wraith unit died finally.
It was like 8 consecutive combat phases with like a unit of 6 possessed and a unit of 5 just over and over and over.
Basically chipping the Wraith unit down while it couldn't reanimate all the way back up.
Yeah.
And then Possessed kind of yeeted themselves out of the home along with Bile. 5 or 6 Possessed tried to kill a Reanimator and failed for 3 turns.
Yep.
Which, you know, that's a thing that happens. Abaddon got charged by a DDA that tank shocked him and stripped 4 wounds off of him after having rolled maximum shots on its gun and killing an entire unit of Chosen that were around him.
Yep.
And the King, by dint of me getting tank shocked by a DDA, managed to kill Abaddon in melee combat. And then I had no solutions for the King, and I just decided to kill everything else that was on the table.
It was the Silent King that tank shocked you in the end, right?
It was the DDA, but it wouldn't have mattered based on
same. It could have been either.
Yeah, same account, either way. And then Cypher killed the backline unit of guys that were going to line up the cultists to kill them. He ran over, held an objective. Cultists ran up and stickied the middle objective. Possessed eventually took the objective from the Silent King, who charged them by dint of me removing models smartly and not allowing him to fully pile in under the objective.
Yep.
But 1 CP let me kind of like reanimate a dude onto it and take the point, which got me points later. It was a 20, but it was like a 20 of work as well to make sure that it actually worked out.
Yep.
My opponent in that game was also an absolute gem. There was a moment where I hit his entire army with mine, and after killing the 9-man in like 1 combat activation, he looked a little shaken, but he was he was great. He took it like a pro, and then we kept going all the way to the end and scrapped all the way to the last moment. There were a couple moments where it looked a little feisty, but it ended up being like a 99-50 or something like that.
Makes sense.
So yeah, and that was it. I ended up 4-1. My goal going into the event was to try to go 3-2, as I hadn't been at an event in quite a while. But I kind of
also literally never played CSM before. Had not played melee pressure since Thick City.
Yeah, Thick City was the last melee pressure army that I played, so it was quite a while since I had played it.
Yeah, the last time you played melee pressure, we were still Fight Club.
Correct. I did, by the end of the event, though, get absolutely converted over to a Chaos Space Marine army. There's like nothing on the planet that will separate me from it. Playing Abaddon was incredible. There's nothing quite as addicting as the absolute revitalization of murdering a Rogaldorn with Abaddon just from dev wounds, essentially.
Before his
Yeah.
squad swung.
Yeah, before his squad swung. And then Possessed were great, Chosen were great. I think Anthony and I are going to record Nathan's 14th Black Crusade starts now. That's not wrong. I'm going to play this at a GT sometime soon.
Yep.
And Anthony and I are going to record a much longer video, I think, where we just talk about how the list kind of functions, because we also have new versions of the lists that we're working on as well.
Yeah, there's a couple things to change.
We will be posting a shorthand video of that, I think, tomorrow. So you all can look forward to a short video of that. And then if you join the Patreon, we're going to do a much longer form video where you can listen to us ramble a lot.
Yep. The short form video of how to play the list will be on the main YouTube. The longer one will be behind the paywall.
Yep. So you'll have to join our Patreon for $5 a month, which, funnily enough, it's time to do plugs.
Plugs time.
All of our plug stuff is in the show description, so you can do all of our sponsors, including Red Dragon, who is our main sponsor, whose logo and intro stuff is all in the front half of the podcast video during our intro sequence. They're amazing. If you join our Patreon, you get a 15% off discount off of basically everything on their store. So go do that. It'll be fun. But we also have a bunch of trained people and people who make widgets who are in the show description who you should go take a look at. If you want coaching, you can go to stat-check.com/coaching. I cannot speak more highly of the people who are on staff for our show and their coaching abilities. Innes, both during every single car ride to the event and after the event, gave advice and tidbits and talked through everything in a way that always speaks kind of highly of his coaching ability. Anthony doesn't coach with us, but he coaches for Art of War. So if you want to go get coaching, you can go get coaching from them. Otherwise, you should join our Patreon if you want to ask us questions or if you want to see the aforementioned deep dive video where we deep dive into it. There will be some combat stuff as well that I think we're going to be doing, some fight phase mechanical stuff. And then Innes has a longer form video as well about the event that he's going to be doing that will all be locked behind the Patreon. You can join that for $5 a month at patreon.com/statcheck. And you get access to our Discord and a bunch of amazing things, including 5-Check League, which is prize supported and stuff like that, as well as all the previously mentioned content. There you go. Then the two ways to get your questions answered on the show, which is what we're about to do, are to ask a super chat or to post in the Patreon Discord questions thread. That's it. Those are the two ways. Yep. All right, Anthony, you can come back now. I promise.
I'm here.
I know. I just saw you were muted. I figured I'd let you know that you could come back.
I don't want to interrupt the plugs, dude.
I know. They're very scuffed. I've been told that's our brand in some ways. So,
often true. Yeah.
All right. We don't have any super chats right now. If you want to get in on that, you can. There's one question in the chat that I will ask at the end if we feel like we're up to answering it. And that's about it. All right. Jeff, Death Company Forklift, has the first question, which is probably an incredibly obvious question that gets answered during the first part of the show, but oh well. Nearly a week on from the balance patch, what changes were more/less impactful than you expected?
I have seen AdMech struggle a little more than I expected it to. I think that's just people kind of trying to get used to having a reasonable adjacent amount of models in their army, but I think that'll take some time for people to adjust to. The Eldar nerf broad stroke seems like it was pretty effective. I really hate what they did with Scintillating Legion. Every time they take like a tee-hee, ha-ha, look at all the tricks thing and give it damage. It's never worked good. See why Harlequins are not allowed to deal damage. Because we can't be trusted with Harlequins that can deal damage. Bad shit happens. So I don't love that just from like a way people have to interact with that army perspective. Basically, every single mechanic in Scintillating is like, ha, your stuff doesn't work now. And that sucks. That sucks to play against. What else? Ultra's obviously an error. Too cheap, too good. Whoops. Yep. Not too much that I can think of offhand. Guard,
Yeah, I think
obviously, whoops, bad, mistake, too good. Gonna need lots of point nerfs now across a faction that did not necessarily need point nerfs before to cover for a detachment that's fucked up, and that sucks.
yeah, I think the big things from it is that the AdMech seems appropriate. Like I saw an AdMech player at the event. They seemed to do
There's a
pretty
couple.
well, but
Yeah.
but nobody seemed to really be like at any point like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna die. Which is, I think I didn't quite expect the Blood Angel detachment to be as good as it is, but I think it's doing really well, and we'll kind of see where the data takes us.
It's
And
really good. And as long
mhm.
as you take 3 Death Company jump pack units and 3 Sanguinary Guard units, that minimum size, it is really, 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 really hard to have the rest of what you put in that list matter just too much.
Yeah.
25 Death Company, 9 Sangers. You work there, you attach chaplains to the things that can have chaplains. You work backwards from there. The damage is crazy. Rerolls are powerful. News at 11.
Yep. Yeah, the boring detachment abilities of reroll 1s to wound and reroll 1s to hit are very powerful in specific armies.
They're
Like
really good
Guard
in every
and
army.
Blood
It should be
Angels.
like
Yep.
the base. I think I ranted about this a bunch last week, but I think every single army should have like a reroll 1s to hit, reroll 1s to wound if doing your army rule in some way. Like I think that design of Grizzled is probably good, but something that like everybody needs, or it's really unfair when one thing has it.
Yep. I think Grizzled is a really cool detachment in that the stratagems kind of like bake off of orders in a way that's really neat.
It
I
really
do
shouldn't
think that
have
it is
the
too
extra
much
order.
efficiency.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it shouldn't have
it's
the
too much
extra
efficiency.
order. Like I think if it didn't have the extra order, so you were actually like taxed into like having to spend more points for things that can give orders, it would be a lot more reasonable, but you don't, so you don't, and now we're here.
Yeah. I do think that like Grizzled and Blood Angels are like pretty easy to adjust attachments overall. They're not madness like Star Shatter.
They also don't feel
like
horrific to play into.
out.
Like even while you were getting
Yep.
blasted by Blood Angels, it was like, oh, I make a small adjustment here, small adjustment here. We're at least fighting each other. We're not like you're not just getting destroyed.
Right. It's really just a play pattern change and some counter mechanics that you just need to think of when you're like envisioning how you fight those detachments.
Yep. Grizzled is fucked up. Grizzled is fucked up because of other problems though, and that's going to take a while to sort.
That's fair. I think the version of Grizzled that I played into was a little bit gentler in some ways than some of the other versions of Grizzled that I've seen out there.
Indirect, right? Like there's.
I think if there were Bulgren in that army, I'd just lose. Honestly,
right?
Yeah. two damage melee flying into -1 damage infantry is just not a good way to go.
Yeah, you're just there for forever. It sucks. So yeah, I can't think of anything else offhand that like took it too bad. Drukhari got destroyed, or not destroyed, but they got hurt really bad by a lot of the way the meta has shifted, and I'm curious to see how that works out in aggregate. Spectacle is very strong, but it really does not like the birds. It really doesn't like the ultras. It doesn't have to dislike ultras, but I think if 2 players of equal skill play, it pretty much favors the ultras.
Yep. I think that matchup is really rough for Spectacle unless some things kind of go its way, right?
Right. Particularly if ultras start to adopt the Desolators that we saw this weekend, because they are very good.
One Desolator unit puts out enough firepower to take out like Venoms. Just Venoms plural.
Yeah, or 2 shitter squads.
Yep. Or even bigger shitter squads if you've got like 10-man Hellion units. I
was gonna say, if you're in range, like it'll fuck up 10 Hellions pretty bad.
Yep. Your unit is basically your Spectacle is basically existing off of the fact that people aren't taking Desos is what it feels like a little bit. But
I mean, and again, if Guard starts to pick up like the indirect pieces and stuff like that, but the meta can become very hostile for Drukhari very quickly.
Yep. And then Tom H has a question, which is a 2-part question. First part isn't a question, just wanted to gas up Innes for taking time to talk through some stuff with me between rounds this weekend. There is no part 2 of the question. So
that's good.
Thank you, Tom.
Good on you, Innes.
Trom Tanzer has the next question. I don't know if I'm pronouncing the umlauted A correctly, but we'll find out. New player here. I want to try playing a stat checklist on TTS, but I've only played Thousand Suns. Can you make an effective stat checklist with them, or should I just try CK or Demons?
That's what 30 Terminators is for.
Yep. I think you just play the 30
Also,
Terminators list.
yeah, there's a bunch of stuff that you can do in Thousand Suns. Their vehicles just got much cheaper. Like, there's a bunch of different ways to navigate it.
You could also just play CK or Demons if you want to play a different kind of stat check, but those are different
But
kinds
Thousand
of
Suns
stat
definitely
check
can
lists.
do it.
Yeah. Thousand Suns can do it with a bunch of Terminators.
Yep.
Yates has the next question, which is, what's a true no-bit rules hot take that you think would make the game better? No hot take? Or no-bit rules hot take? I mean, I think indirect just needs to change completely, is the truth of it.
I think they could just pluck the indirect keyword out of the game and it would improve things.
Or have it hit like Overwatch does only on 6s. Just like make it snapshots. And I think that would be fine.
I think also on the like just pluck something out of the game line, I do really genuinely think we could just do away with dev wounds. I don't think we need dev wounds.
I think it needs to change if it's going to stay.
I think dev wounds should just be like +2 AP, or like no invulnerable save, or something like that.
The original suggestion that we made, I think, back at the start of 10th edition.
Make it rending.
Right?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you to 0ix7 dot for the $5 Australian super chat, which is, how do we feel about orcs on the whole? Since moving to Votan, I feel like the orcs as an army are playing a much weaker game than other armies.
So I know you would be now the third person that has switched off orcs and been like, why the fuck am I trying so hard in orcs right now? Orcs are really, really, really good when they get to do their thing. Unfortunately, the thing that they do is quite fair and a little telegraphed. And sometimes your opponent gets a little too much agency in the, like, what can be done with that. I still think Warhorde is quite powerful. I think it has a lot of options, but not necessarily enough. And you have to be very, very, very high level at playing melee pressure to make Warhorde work well. And I think you run into diminishing returns, because if you were as good at other thing as you have to be at melee pressure to play Warhorde, you would probably also do great, right? So it's a tough position to be in. I think orcs could use a little love.
They definitely could. Feels like they've kind of like overshot them a couple times at this point, is really what's happened.
I don't want them to be good at shooting. Every time they buff orc shooting to be good, bad shit happens. But they could do something else. Orcs could be cheaper, they could change timings, they could buff other rules. There are things that they could do to make orcs more compelling.
Yeah, I think there's a good example from the GT over the weekend is that one person had 3 20s, a 2 and a 3 while playing Warhorde Orcs. Like that's Charles, the kind of situation. Yep. Yeah, Charles was. Yeah. And that's kind of like the thing that happens sometimes is that if person has tools to deal with you, you just completely lose.
Yeah.
With no alternative. Next after that is from Innis, who is sleeping. Horse, question mark.
Horse indeed.
Horse. Isaac, Pot of Greed Tea, has the next question, which is favorite Christmas food.
What?
Favorite Christmas food?
What's Christmas food?
I don't know, actually. That's a good question.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
My family on Christmas would go to Chinese restaurants. We don't eat, I don't know, whatever tradition.
My family was very Italian. We had the 48 fishes or whatever the fuck growing up, and that was as close
terrible.
As we got to Christmas food. I don't like fish, so yeah, for me it sucked. But
I actually really liked making pot stickers, or gyoza, as some people call them, with my family. We would do that as a more recent family tradition for Christmas, which I enjoy. Cool. What should I bring to Ben Jurick's New Year's White Elephant gift exchange? A $30 limit. One of those Fire Strike turrets, the Warhammer 40K turret. Yeah, those things.
And no one will ask because their real value is $0. So no, even if they cost more than $30, no one's gonna care.
Nobody will care.
Yeah.
Next question is another question from Jeff, Death Company Forklift, who continues to have my favorite username in our Discord. As an Eldar and Custodes player, I am obviously a horrible person, and when God sings with all its creations at the end of time, I will be firmly asked to leave the choir. Damn it. how do I move on from the craft world nurse? Do I need to go back to school and learn Seer Council skullduggery, or can I just go full aspect MSU and unga bunga my way to occasional success?
I think
Everything about
Yep.
that question is immaculate. Is the first thing I want to say.
That was great. Jeff, you have Death Company in your name. Do you happen to own Blood Angels? Because on top of being really good, that Blood Angel list is a bunch of fun. So
Mhm.
do that if you can. But secondly, I would try MSU aspects. That's why I have a lot. I almost just said some crazy shit about the Eldar fan base. Basically, what happens all the time is that the Eldar fan base is like, we just want to play MSU aspects. It doesn't have to be uninteractive. We just want to play a lot of aspects. It'll be a lot of fun. You can run like 21 unit aspect warrior lists right now. Go nuts. If what you said is true, go crazy, Kings. Now's your time. Get out there.
I mean, fire dragons are still fine. You can run fire dragons.
It hurts
I don't
real
think.
bad.
Yeah, I don't think Eldar are as bad as some Eldar people seem to think they are, and there's like ways to pivot. It's not good though. It's not as good as it was, and that's a good thing. But it
Yeah.
is not as bad as people think, and there's room in there to go.
Yeah.
Places. Magnus A has a question of Harlequin's list that could work.
I want to say that Art of War just had a stream game with the new detachment that it won. Do what they did.
I think it's just you mix in some Eldar and then have troops and do stuff.
Yeah, it's not. It's the same thing Ghosts was.
But better because the buffs from this are better than they are in Ghosts, essentially.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Next one is from Grigori. Hope you guys had a great charity event. Anthony, what list should World Eaters players pivot for singles and teams, and how do you feel about the data slate changes?
I think it depends a lot on what you are asking from your World Eater player in teams. But what I would probably play is like a 40 Zerker variant, one big 20 brick, and then 2 10s. I'd run Angron, and then just kind of, flavor to taste from there. But I've broadly seen and had a fair amount of success with those kind of things. For singles, it's entirely reliant on your terrain format more than basically anything else. And yeah, as far as the data slate goes, I think it's one of the more disappointing data slates we've gotten in the back half of 10th, particularly since like Josh has taken over. It just didn't hit a lot of the right stuff. I don't think it buffed weird shit, not necessarily struggling shit, in ways that I don't feel were necessarily super helpful. I think it was very like, it was boring, and where it wasn't boring, it was often like not great. It appears to have, as time is going on, done a good job with specifically Eldar and Admech, but across, this many attempts, you're going to have some misses, and I think this one is probably the lowest I would rank of the data slates thus far.
Ben F has the next question, which is, other than Marines, what has the highest damage ceiling right now?
Guard, obviously. Guard by a bunch. Yeah, guard.
Yeah, it's definitely guard.
Yeah.
Chris Polly has the next question, which is, tonight or not tonight for my Imperial Agents list?
I think it's probably worth having a knight, but I don't know nearly enough about agents to inform correctly in this space.
Yeah, I think you want a knight. You might just want a knight that operates mostly independently of things.
Yeah.
I don't know what knight that is, though. You'd have to look at it for a while and kind of figure it out.
Yep.
Luke asks, would Anthony make any changes to Innes's list after the Charity GT, asking for a friend, which I assume is actually just Luke asking.
Yeah, the thing is, Luke, is that Innes played Blood Angels and not Chaos Knights, so fuck you. Next question.
Isaac Spooky Clark asks the next question, which is, teams in January, Grand Coven, vehicle spam, or stick with 30 Termies and Phalanx? Worried peeps teching into Victrix might be an issue.
There are different profiles, right? Like the stuff that's good into Victrix is actually not necessarily always good into Terminators. In fact, quite the opposite is often true. People will often tech out of damage 3 to try to handle Victrix, and that represents a space where you can pick up a couple percentage points. But I think vehicle spam is genuinely worth a shot for people that haven't tried it. A lot of the Thousand Suns vehicles did become quite cheap. So give it a spin, see how you feel.
Frank has the next question, which is, Nathan, do you want to heroic? I do not.
It activates Nathan like the Winter Soldier code now.
Not want a heroic. My wife is in the other room and giggled when I said no.
She's gonna ask you if you want a heroic later, just while you're doing nothing. You're gonna be like making soup, and she's gonna be like, "Do you want a heroic?"
She is. She's going to. I'm going to be cooking dinner tomorrow, and she's gonna be like, "Do you want a heroic, Nathan?"
Yes. Did she like the apple? Did she like the apple candle?
Maria.
Yeah.
Did you like the apple?
Yeah. Smells really good.
Yep,
Nice.
there you go.
Hell yeah.
Anthony has this unerring ability to take you to just amazing places, by the way. Just as an aside.
Wow.
I try.
That was so romantic and precious.
Damn. She said.
You were just been told, like, wow, you just have the ability to take me amazing places.
We've been friends for a long time. That's really what it is.
Watch it, Maria. Me and Nathan are almost common law.
I'll have to play her that clip later. She's gonna have a good time with that.
Yeah.
Frank's real question, now that we've had an aside, is new Kato good enough at 95 to downgrade Calgar to only 3 Palgars from 6 Palgars?
I think for his specific unit, it is a good way to pick up points in the list. Like, you can go from 6 to 3, put in Kato, Calgar adds 2 idiots to the unit. You have kind of like a 6-ish Vitrix that you're down 2 guys, right? But mechanically, it's quite good.
Yep.
It also gives you the flat 6 heroic as a source in non-Stormlands builds, which is not bad.
Heroic! No.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Get him! Get him!
Luke Ultramarines asks, that's an unfortunate last name, Luke.
That's tough, dude.
Do Assault Terminators with the buff from Slate become usable? If you were going to use Assault Terminators, what detachment and what loadouts? I will say, before Anthony goes off probably and says something mean, I've seen people play the new Thunderhammer Storm Shield equivalent that now hits on 3s to some success on TTS. I don't think it's amazing, but somebody played it in Blood Angels and did really cool things with it. It does have a ton of attack.
That's what I was just going to say, is that if
you do Lightning Claws, though, it is a ton of attacks.
If Innes was here, he would take this opportunity to freak out about the Blood Angel unit with Lightning Claws. You can try it. The Terminator dude still gives them +1 to wound. They're twin linked. Fuck it. Give it a shot. See if you hate it. Go nuts. Good luck.
Yeah. Here you go. I don't think you want to do that. You just want to take more Death Company. Like, it's taking up valuable Death Company space, and that's all.
Yep.
But if you really love Terminators, use them in that detachment.
I think it's a reasonable way to try and use them.
Yep.
If they make Death Company Terminators, we're all fucked. So
we're all danger. We're all fucked. I think it's really funny how oath agnostic that detachment is, but we'll talk about this some other time. Yeah. Logan Sama asks, how much do we love DC Dread and DC Dread related activities?
A lot. I mean, a lot. They were really good. They were very powerful. They do a good job in the list that a lot of other things like just don't get to do. So
it really does something that Death Company Sanguinary Guard focus list just doesn't have, right? It just has something that it doesn't normally have.
Durable. They're durable. Good. Yeah, they're not like, God's gift, right? They're not, transformative for what the army can do. But they're good.
Ian has a question. They're getting funnier as the time goes on. Dear Anthony,
okay.
I have unfortunately learned that a great deal of 40K questions can be answered by either making a spreadsheet or using TTS at 2 a.m. So I do not have any good pressure melee questions for you at this time.
Great.
That being said,
hold on, wait, pause. Stop right there. Chat, listen to what this person just said, because you'll save yourself a lot of headache in the future. Carry on.
That being said, for the whole class today, if you had to be a bird, what bird would you be? I would want to be a great horned owl.
All right. So I don't have an answer for this question, but I do have homework for Nathan now.
Okay.
On Medicaid order, next time you see Seth, I want to know what the bird equivalent of living a life like a house cat to a millennial couple with no kids would be like.
Oh, that's a macaw. That's just a macaw, right? Yeah.
I have no fucking clue, Nathan. I don't like birds.
Yeah.
I actually, quite the opposite. In fact, I fucking hate them. So, uh,
So if you want to be treated like the prince of the castle, I'll say this because my family owned birds when I was a kid, so I know
Got it.
a little bit about parrots and things. Is you would want to be like one of the larger parrots that lives to be like 80 and just be passed down basically to other families
Hold on.
like a heirloom. Yeah.
they
What?
live how long?
Like 60 to 80 years. They can live a long time.
What the fuck?
I don't think it's 80 years. I might be a little bit wrong. It's like 60. There you go. Oh, no. Some of the larger ones do live 70 to 90 years or even more. They live longer than people.
God damn, son. That's crazy.
Yeah. See, I was going to pick an endangered animal so that I could just do whatever the fuck I want, basically. Like
Sure.
those giant raptor birds in Australia.
Mm, yeah.
Like, I'll be that one. I'm endangered. People probably videotape me a lot, and I just get to do whatever the fuck I want because I'm endangered. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Get a federal crime and get thrown in prison for hurting an endangered bird?
Yeah, idiot.
Idiot, get wrecked, son.
Yeah. That'll show. Yeah.
All right. After that, Sean has the next question, which is, are the traitor enforcers theoretically still good standalone weirdos in a chaos cults list?
I mean, shit, that's probably where they're at their best. They get every fucking detachment rule, dude.
That is the one where they are best because they get to do all sorts of shit. Honestly, yeah, because they get to pact and other stuff in that one as well and do
Well,
crazy
they can
shit.
pact in the one you played.
Oh,
right?
they
But
can.
They get
I just never
they get the
did.
desperate pact, which makes them 2 inches faster or +2 to
That's
charge.
what it is. Yeah. Like, that makes them so much better as little shitters that get to engage shit because then they're moving
8.
pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah. They move 8. You just put them in rhinos, guys. You just put them in rhinos, send them places. They get out. They do shit.
Yeah.
Floof, #1 fan of unions, has a question which asks, hey, can we get a tier list of answers to common questions asked? I'm feeling spreadsheet is at least B because it takes the most effort.
What?
Do you want a tier list of answers to common questions asked? I think the S tier one is the one that Anthony also used at an event, which was, what does your rule say?
I use that one a lot. I don't fucking know. What's it say?
That is the S tier answer of most. That is the S tier 40K answer to a question.
Yeah.
Then Luke has one more question, which is, does Anthony like birds more or less than he likes bears?
I don't know. It's tough. I don't have an answer yet this time. I'll think about it.
And that is all of our questions for today. Thanks,
We did
everybody.
it.
All right. If you want plugs, they're all at the beginning. They're all at the midpoint, an hour into the episode. If you're this far into the episode, you get to listen to me read these really amusing things that people write in the Chris Pie 5 tier. So if you
And
join the Chris Pie 5,
And remember, folks, if there's no penguin stat or fact at the end of this, there will be no stat check next week.
it's forever, actually. I think we said we're ending the show.
Yeah,
If-
correct. But also next week.
Yes. Also specifically next week. All right. So if you join the $15 a month tier, which is the Chris Pie 5 tier, you get a bunch of other benefits in person. If you're a really good opponent, I'll also give you some of these benefits. So some people over the weekend, when I remembered that I had them and brought them with me, got Chris Pie 5 tokens. So congratulations, folks.
Yeah.
Otherwise, though, you also get to get thanked at the end of every episode, whether I'm on it or not. And it makes me really happy that Innes gets tortured with this, you know. And I definitely won't feel petty about it after he psyops me into heroicing. All right. Thank you to Christopher. Nathan plugs are better than Innes plugs Irvine. That's really sweet of you. I appreciate that. Thank you to Willow Weeks. Thank you to Dan F. Thank you to Luke Harridans taking the subway. McCarthy. Thank you to David. Storm surges are back. Question mark, exclamation point. Or it's exclamation point, question mark, exclamation point. Clark. Thank you to Exhausted. Thank you to James H. Thank you to Colton, Dan F. Miller. Thank you to Fungus. Thank you to John, V8 Gang. Why is it Grotmes instead of Sanguinala? That's a good question. It should be Sanguinala. Sanguinius is the best Primarch.
This year it's Sanguinala, to be fair.
Fair. Thank you to Cam, Fdan, Morton, Hog Emoji. Thank you to Lady Malice's Footstool. Thank you to Josiah Gattle. Thank you to Frankie Fresh. Thank you to Isaac. Tonight on Stat Check, Nathan loves kill team models and is scared of John to get his win, and Anthony did a TO. Tarada. Also, I won the Art of War TTS event when Calgar with Company of Heroes lived Falcon plus Asserman twice, Lycus, Banshee, and a grenade.
That's a long name. Good job.
That's a long name.
Whoever did that.
Thank you. Dang it. I'm moving a tab instead of scrolling backwards where I needed to be. Oh, shit. What did I do? Oh, there it is. Okay, cool.
You did it.
Thank you to All I Wanted for Grotmess was nothing, but instead we got guard. Thank you to Lady Malice's toe clipper.
All right.
Damn.
Calm down.
All right, guys. Footstool is okay. Toe clipper
This is a little too far.
is not. You know what? It's not that far given the tabs that are at the bottom of this.
All right.
Thank you to Steven. The only thing I like more than playing Warhammer is complaining about Warhammer Ross. I think the number one thing that most hobbyists in Warhammer 40k do is complain. And the second one is also complain.
Oh, see, I think the first is like Math Hammer. The second is write lists. But after they finish those two, they complain.
Oh, that's fair. I guess you could say 2 and 3 were those things, and the first one is complain in my book.
Yeah.
Tom, thank you to Tom, GorgonCon Submarine Services H. Thank you to, if I can get them ready, I might bring 45 Custodian Guard to a RTT on Saturday. Just roll 4s. How hard can it be?
I don't.
Thank you.
Like the most you could take is 30. So after that, I don't know what else you're doing, but Godspeed.
Thank you to Hart. Thank you to Floof. Happy holidays to the Stat Check crew. I hope you know what a positive influence you all have been. Also, Slugma Cox. Thanks, Floof.
Nice.
Until the end. Thanks, Floof. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Thank you to Come With Me on a Gucci Adventure trademarked. Thank you to Manifesting Median Performance. Thank you to John Garza. Thank you to Henry. The Southern Hemisphere is home to 99.9% of the wild penguin population, the Wizard, which makes sense because that's the one where it says there are no bears, right?
Yes, we learned that over the
other
weekend.
one.
Yes.
Yeah. Innes explained at great length the reason why the Arctic and Antarctica are named the way that they are or something like that.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, one is because there are bears there, and the other is because there are no bears there. And I was like, okay, Innes,
Makes
whatever
sense.
you say, bud.
Yeah, it seems
That's
real.
fair.
Yeah.
And then thank you to Penny the Penguin will be very sad if Stat Check ends. Please do not make Penny the Penguin sad. This is your penguin fact.
Well, you heard it here first, folks. Henry, you've been usurped, and we will keep doing stat checks so long as we're alive to not make Penny the Penguin sad.
That's fair.
Jesus Christ.
Whoa. We did talk about making a retirement community while we were hanging out this weekend, where we run Ironmans every weekend and farm Elo off of people. So, you know.
Yeah.
Well, thank you to everybody for watching. Thank you to Anthony for coming up with the list that I played this weekend, if not for everything else, including hosting us and making sure we were fed.
Yes. I did the things. You're welcome.
You did.
It was nice having everybody here.
It was great. It was basically a Fight Club reunion, which was very funny. That was amazing. I think it's the first time all three of us have been in a non-WTC room.
That's true.
In a very long time.
Yes, correct.
All right.
WTC doesn't
On that
count.
note,
Everybody goes to WTC.
I think the other thing is that WTC, everybody's like laser honed in, focused on like different stuff. So you don't really hang out with each other during it.
Yeah.
Until like the very end of it.
Yep.
Right. On that note, good luck to everybody this weekend if you're at an event. And enjoy any travels that you've got. I hope you all have a wonderful week and a lovely weekend. And we will see you all next week on Tuesday.
Woohoo.
Bye-bye.